In Jamaica, public sector nurses dominated the headlines this week. They staged 2 days of sick-out demanding the non-payment of retroactive monies. That issue is now being rectified, but there are other lingering problems nurses need to have resolved. Nurses may be back on the job, but there are still lingering issues they want to be addressed. For 2 days, public sector nurses stayed off the job, staging a sick-out that almost paralyzed the health sector. On Tuesday and Wednesday, sections of the country's public health sector were completely shut down, while some hospitals and clinics were only able to accept emergency cases. Nurses stayed away protesting the non-payment of retroactive monies owed to them from the reclassification of the health sector in 2013. After attending a meeting on Wednesday with officials from the Ministries of Labour, Health and Finance, the matter is now being addressed and nurses have been reporting to work. But President of the Nurses Association of Jamaica, NAJ, Janet Farr, says there are other pressing matters that need urgent attention, like the mass migration of nurses to foreign countries in search of a better quality of life as well as remuneration. Ms. Farr explains that each year Jamaica loses hundreds of its highly qualified and experienced nurses to the United States, Canada, and the UK. She contends that while the government may not be able to offer attractive sums in comparison to its overseas counterparts, they still can do better.
One of the things that we need to recognize, you can't pay a nurse to do her work, because nursing is just a different kind of job. We're dealing with people's lives here. And whereas we're not expecting to make a lot of money, you need to try and make some sacrifice to make nurses want to stay a little longer. They must have something to work towards. You don't have a retention strategy. Find a kind of retention strategy that will assist nurses in staying a little longer. Because one of the passions that I have in this country is that you're looking after people and people's lives. I do not have a problem with persons coming in to the country, but I would really prefer, if I am in that bed and if my patients are in that bed, that whoever is coming along to look after that patient can speak the same language that I speak.
The NAJ president confirms that it's the very skilled nurses that are leaving, those required for critical patient care.
Those specialist nurses are more the nurses who have had a number of years under their belt. These are nurses who are trained, they have gone on to do postgraduate studies, etc. So they are not just coming out of school. These are the registered nurses who have done intensive care training, operating theatre, labor and delivery, psychiatry, all of these specialist nurses. And what happens is that the United States of America, we can't stop nurses from going. But the United States, and we also have London coming down now, Canada is taking these nurses. And when we have that large volume, 200 persons left last year. This year at the University Hospital alone, 58 persons left. At KPH, 16 persons left. And between June and September, 46 critical care nurses left the country. Now when you have that, it has a very serious impact on patient care. Because if you're in intensive care and if the person who is looking after you is not an intensive care nurse, then you are in trouble. Because these are specialist nurses and they look after the patient who is in intensive care. You have intensive care for pediatrics, intensive care for adults, and accident and emergency. All of these people are specialists. So when you have that group of persons leaving, then you are left with the junior nurses who are just coming up who can't manage.
Ms. Farr says the migration of nurses isn't anything new. She says Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson is very much aware.
It's an age-old problem and it's a riding a horse. I keep talking about it all the time. What are we doing for our specialist nurses? And it is an age-old. The Minister Fenton Ferguson knows. Minister Horace Daly knows. Everybody knows. It's nothing new. This is nothing new. But we need to plug the system in such a way that we keep these people. We had 71 nurses who graduated. I went to a graduation of 71 specialist nurses. I asked them how many of them are, and this was this year alone. They're going through the gate. And the people are prepared to pay their bond and take them. because the bond can't be all that much. The United States pay the bond and take the nurse. Take the nurse, take their nurse husband and take the family too.